Hey guys, my name is Jax Atlantis. I am a reader of tarot, a mentor of astrology, and the creator of the Nameless Deck. And for today's collaboration pick a card reading with Atia's Tarot, we're going to be talking about past lives and future lives. We hear a lot about past lives, but we don't talk a whole lot about future lives. And so if you go to Atia's Tarot, she will be doing a reading on past lives, and you'll basically pick a pile that resonates with the energy from that. And if you've stopped over in this video first, then we're going to be looking at future lives. So I recommend going to her channel, checking out her past lives video first, and then watching this one, but you can watch them in either order. And it's very likely that, like last time, the two of us don't talk about what we're picking up or what our readings say, but they kind of magically, they're magically synchronistic with each other each and every time. It's pretty amazing. So let's start with pile one. For pile one, and what to keep in mind about your upcoming future life, we have the 8 of Coins and the 9 of Wands. So in this next lifetime, and getting a glimpse at it, it actually tells us a little bit about your present lifetime. So with the 8 of Coins, for example, the idea that the 8 of Coins is going to be something relevant to your next lifetime means that in this lifetime you'd be looking at what leads up to the 8 of Coins and what leads up to the 9 of Wands, which would of course be the 7 of Coins and the 8 of Wands in this present lifetime. So in the next lifetime, 8 of Coins, it's very likely that in the next lifetime you will have a supportive environment for education, whether that be a secondary education like college, whether that be educating yourself in general. And it can signal that in this lifetime you may have been in an environment where education was something that was looked at as a risk or something that is unnecessary or an extra detail. But what we also see here is that in the next lifetime there is the 8 numerology, which would signal abundance, oftentimes resulting in an abundance of friendships and an abundance of whether it be finances, whether it be the equivalent that in this lifetime there were difficulties around that there were struggles around that. And that's part of the lesson that we learn, from our past lifetimes. We live in one way, in our present lifetime we sometimes will live in an exact counter to that, or we will just have sort of progressed up the ladder a little bit in a particular lesson. And in this next lifetime, though, this signals that you will have a lot of abundance that you're probably either born with, or abundance that is very easy to access. And there's a lot of karmic rewards that happen from this lifetime. The 9 of Wands part is actually kind of interesting, though, because this signals that in the next lifetime you will also have a lot of questions around allegiances. So this could represent that in the next lifetime, a big lesson for you is going to be about who it is that you are flying a flag for, and who it is that you are devoting yourself to, who it is you call your friend, and who it is, basically, if you are put in the position or feel you're in the position, Moon Sagittarius, to have to choose a side, whether it be a side of one religion or the other, which is very common for Moon Sagittarius, or whether it be one country or another is another way that could manifest. But you're going to be, this lifetime is very much about leading to a next lifetime where your own empowerment is very easy to access, but the choices you have to make are actually going to be very rough. So maybe in this lifetime it's pretty crystal clear who is standing by you, supporting you, and what things you feel beholden to versus that you feel empowered by. Whereas in the next lifetime, you are actually going to have some really tough choices to make there, but things are going to be a lot easier on the base level of your life, if that makes any sense. So that's our pile one. If you're pile two, then you'll be getting to this side of the video here. So we have the Lovers and 10 of Cups. So it's very likely, okay, so if your next lifetime is very much about an easy and almost blessed connection with the masculine and feminine combining with each other, and a very easy time with camaraderie, teamwork, bringing people together, bringing communities together, as we might find in the Ten of Cups. Sometimes it's the what would you say, the emotion of leadership, or the right emotional strength that can translate into healthy leadership rather than it being a dictatorship. So with both of these types of energies combined, it would suggest that in this lifetime that there has been some difficulty around relationships in general, but also in a sense where there's been a difficulty around balancing out the feminine and the masculine. That has been, whether it be that the feminine or the masculine almost in your mind hold this oppositional tone. Maybe you've had really bad experiences with the opposite sex. It would suggest that in the next lifetime you're going to have a much sort of easier time with that. There won't be much of a lesson there, because in this lifetime you'll have learned that there is a balance to everything. There's difficulties on both sides, that there are lessons to learn on both sides. And maybe in this lifetime, it's the confrontation of a very serious imbalance of one of those two energies that causes this. But also, if you look at the Ten of Cups in the next lifetime, which would be taking on responsibility for a community, or almost sort of stepping up as the team leader using communication rather than force. In this lifetime, though, it would suggest that you're in a Nine of Cups place, which would mean manifestation via the law of attraction, or manifestation via this energy of almost wishing for things to be true and then they come true, or being able to have prophetic dreams about things before they happen. These energies would be really strong in this lifetime. Nine of Cups is one of the most optimistic cards in all of the tarot, because you can bring into being, as if you had a genie, the wishes that you have. So really interesting kind of duo here yet again. For pile 3, let's see what you guys have for this one. And I'm discovering these just as you guys are, so we're doing kind of a sort of a pseudo live readings for these. So pile 3, King of Swords and the Devil. Yeah, my God. So in this lifetime, let's see, you'd be in the Queen of Swords state. So this lifetime very much about negotiation, as well as learning the ways to effectively communicate with other people to get your point across, maybe in an environment where it's difficult for you to, whether you're surrounded by people that have a hard time with listening, or listening to you because of something that you can't control, like not listening to you because of where you're from, not listening to you because you are maybe more laid back, and so you have a trouble. And so in this lifetime, you're learning how to communicate sharply and effectively, as the Queen of Swords does, and to learn how to negotiate. In the next lifetime, this won't be nearly as difficult. So King of Swords would mean that people on an instinctual level know that they should really listen to what you're saying, and oftentimes you will be the one who, whether you want it or not, has this responsibility where people come up to you and they just sort of unload kind of the big questions of life on you. They'll ask, what do you think I should do about this relationship situation I'm in, or what direction do you think I should go in? And the King of Swords kind of has this responsibility because he has a really strong objective mind, and his tortoise wisdom says not to just blurt out some answer like we might see in the Knight of Swords, but in the King of Swords it's about being able to think deeply about something and to take your time finding that truth and making that decision. And next we have the Devil. So in the next lifetime, this is very much about being able to let go of the judgment of others. And so that means that in this lifetime you might have an either an easier time letting go of other people's judgment, or maybe you're just sort of in this position where people aren't rushing to judgments with you. Maybe you just give off this vibe that's hard to describe. But in the next lifetime, you definitely learn a little bit about persecution from others, and at the same time, it's what we can do to remove the chains that we think we're bound to, because a lot of times the devil is illusionary. It's the judgment of others, and we need to let go of it. It can be an addiction and this illusion that we're chained to that addiction. There's nothing we can do about it. It's just the way it is. And so a lot of times with the devil, there's misinterpretation, which totally matches that energy. It's very Pluto Capricorn. It's everyone around me says this about me, so that must be true, or everyone around me says this about me, so I need to release my dependence on their approval. And that can be how it manifests. A lot of times, though, the devil is just marked as a very bad card in tarot. It represents that you're going to be addicted to something, you're stuck in a situation. But the reality is it's actually a lot more about releasing yourself from the chains and illusions, that there's no way out. For pile 4, we have the 5 of coins and the 9 of cups. So that's interesting. We actually had the 10 of cups earlier. We talked about what the present life would be like if you had that. So for you who have pile 4, this lifetime is very much centered around the 4 of coins and the 8 of cups, which would be a position of whether it be financial security or financial stability. The 4 of coins lifetime would be very much about gravitating to the stability of other people and gravitating towards situations that you can predict. And so in the next lifetime, you learn quite a bit about taking certain risks and getting hit with financial turmoil because of it, and then learning gratitude, essentially. Gratitude tends to be the master lesson that the 5 of coins is supposed to show us. It's supposed to help us understand that, yes, you might have this unfair situation that befell you, but you also have friends. Or yes, you have this unfair situation that befell you, but as we see in the 6 of coins, the difficulty we experience in the 5 of coins could actually be something that goes on to benefit us. Whereas in this lifetime, you've got the 8 of cups energy, and in the future lifetime, it translates to 9 of cups. So in this lifetime, it's very much about having the courage to leave the stability of the 4 of coins and to leave certain relationships, or to even join certain relationships that you know in some way or another represent that you are going to lose stability, you are going to lose predictability. So this lifetime very much about making choices that require courage, and the next lifetime is about being able to find gratitude and essentially to make your wishes come true because you've been able to appropriately acclimate to difficulties that you've faced. So in this next lifetime, it feels like you're essentially learning a type of magic. That is, the 9 of Cups is, Jupiter, Pisces. It's a very powerful energy, and it really, there's no other way to describe it other than magical and wish granting. For pile 5, let's take a look at what comes up for your future lifetime. We have the 7 of Wands, or we have the 8 of Wands, and the Queen of Swords, which we already talked about. So this is kind of funny. These readings are kind of connecting to each other. You should definitely in the comments pay attention to who has pile 4, for example, and pile 3. And take note of that, because they are going to have complementary lessons to you in this lifetime. So for you, in the next lifetime, it's about the 8 of Wands, setting way higher expectations for yourself, way higher goals. Maybe in this lifetime, you are in this position where you're kind of annoyed about how much you have to wait, and the sort of mystery that you have to marinate in order to see what comes next. And this difficulty with patience and the perseverance that patience requires, where maybe, oftentimes 7 of Wands would be, you lose a job, you're putting out all these applications, and there's that time in between actually getting accepted to something else that feels like purgatory. Well, the 8 of Wands is what comes after, which is this, of course, this abundance of opportunities, and it comes from setting way higher goals for yourself. And that's what the 8 of Wands suggests about your next lifetime, is that in this lifetime, if you learn that patience and perseverance, that you will be able to start aiming much higher for yourself, and to not feel so tossed around by the universe, not so not to constantly question your place in life if you're ever going to have what it is that you want. And so the next lifetime feels like you're probably, in a lot of these cases, you're probably born into a position that makes this very accessible, whereas in this lifetime it was or at least seemed like it was very inaccessible. What's also interesting, though, is that the next lifetime is about negotiation and being able to speak sharply and to get your point across and to negotiate for the best deal. And this would include not always literal deals like financial or business dealings, but also deals when it comes to boundaries with other people, being able to speak very clearly about what you will and won't tolerate, and being able to comfortably walk away if the situation isn't right. Whereas in this lifetime, you're probably in a much more Knight of Swords energy, which is where you're very smart, you're very mentally adaptable to situations, and it can get you into trouble because you might say, well, I didn't have to do all this study and go through all this learning for this situation. I was naturally good at it, so I won't study this other thing, or I won't listen to my elders, or I won't, essentially, I'm basically going to jump in head first because I got this no matter what. And the reality is, it's like, no, actually, sometimes you got to slow down, and you've got to get comfortable, which, once again, Knight of Swords and Seven of Wands connects to each other in that way, because it's saying get comfortable in not knowing and not being in full control of everything. For pile 6, you've got here the Six of Coins and the High Priestess. So next lifetime, very likely, you're going to be born in a state of financial blessing, and or with Moon Taurus, this could also be the blessing of the ultimate best friend. So sometimes that means that in this lifetime, Five of Coins, that you have some difficulty with either betrayal that you've experienced or unfair circumstances. So the next lifetime is suggesting that this is going to be balanced out in some way or another, but there's also a type of emotional stability that we feel in the Six of Coins, because Taurus is really good at balancing out this lunar energy, and even when you have really negative emotions, being able to balance that into something that is understandable and something you can actually interpret. So in the next lifetime, you're going to have a really easy time with your emotions, probably a very easy time with the right people just being there. But all that means is that in this lifetime that you are learning gratitude and learning how important it really is to have someone by your side and to truly be there for you. And in this lifetime, the interpretation of that might be that you are that person to someone else, and that maybe you didn't experience that, and maybe you don't experience it until the end of your life, but being that for another person improves the universe. It changes humanity forever. It might only seem like you affect a few people that you know, but the reality is those people go on to affect people, and so on and so forth, and you have a much greater impact in human history than you might even think, even if you don't become some historical figure. But also another interesting thing is that means that in this present lifetime you are the Magician energy, Five of Coins and Magician. It would signal that in this lifetime you have raw potential. You've got so much potential. You're probably very, you probably have a strong verbal IQ, or you're someone who can pick things up really quick. And so the magic of the Magician is someone who's able to bridge the earthly and the divine, and to do so in a way that is pretty indescribable to other people, whereas in the next lifetime is very much about with the High Priestess, it's very powerful in all the obvious ways. It's incredibly intuitive, the known and the unknown coming together, the pillars of black and white sort of representing the knowledge as well as the wisdom. But there's also a difficult side to the High Priestess, which is the mythical creature complex that happens with High Priestess. And that is where people will elevate you in these different ways that can be really uncomfortable. They can put you in these positions where they elevate you in some way, and then of course have an elevated expectation of you, and you didn't ask for any of it. So you're going to be very blessed very magical, but also at the same time very sought after in a way that can sort of put you in difficult positions like that. And you'll have some lessons to learn around that. For pile 7, let's see what you guys have. 5 of Wands, 6 of Wands. Jesus. Okay. So pile 7, you guys have, this upcoming lifetime is in some way, shape, or form a direct continuation of this lifetime. That can be as wild as being born chronologically, like being reborn, being reincarnated, if you believe in that, moments after you die in this lifetime. That can mean that your soul lessons essentially are these exact staircase steps from what you learned in this lifetime. But to have a progression of the same suit of 5 of Wands and 6 of Wands is really, really interesting to see. Saturn Leo and then Jupiter Leo, the restriction of Leo and then the liberation of Leo. So this next lifetime is very much about, you're going to start off in quite a bit of conflict, and it's very likely going to be familial conflict. At the same time, though, as we know with 5 of Wands, this is not conflict of swords. This isn't life or death. This is, it means that it's very likely to grow up in an argumentative environment or an argumentative family. But then what happens, of course, is the development of true victory. So it means that in this present lifetime that you are in the 4 of Wands starting out, which is the familial peace and celebration, the structure that you can have from a strong family unit. And at the end of this lifetime that you're going to be experiencing some of the difficulty, and there's a lot of reasons why people can become very estranged from each other or get into these really large sort of family feuds with each other, especially later in life, because there are things like inheritance that comes up. There's things like divorces, and then part of the family might take one side or the other side. There's a lot of that type of stuff that happens in this lifetime. But just like with the 5 of Coins, there is an energy of gratitude that we find with 5 of Wands, which is the gratitude of chaos, the gratitude for chaos and the things that made that chaos possible, which of course was, there are the things that are bolted together, and so chaos sort of stands out when anything looks different than what you're used to. And so it means that you might have that for all the things that have, if 3 important things have fallen apart, it's possible you've got 7 things which are still very well held together, and there's a lot to appreciate about that. And also it is through sparring that we become, a true sort of metaphorical, in this case, martial artist with 6 of Wands. We become victorious. We master our craft in some way, and we experience a lot of bliss and uplifting energy from that. So yeah, that's a pile 7. You've got probably, I don't know if I would say like the most interesting, but that is, I have none of the other piles sort of kept that energy. It feels as though pile 7, you are going to have, in some way, shape, or form, that your next lifetime is directly after this lifetime, both literally and figuratively. Oh, get out of it. What are the statistical odds of this? So we have a 4 of Wands for pile 8. So for pile 8, yeah, so you're 4 of Wands and 4 of Swords. So your next lifetime, you guys need to chill. And there's a reason for that. So you guys have, in this lifetime, experienced true hardship. You've experienced 3 of Wands, and there's a beautiful side to that call of adventure in 3 of Wands. And at the same time, though, you've definitely experienced parts of your family, friendship circles, community. You've experienced tons of branching off. You've experienced watching people sort of be scattered to the wind away from each other, and in a way that will sort of repeat later in the 5 of Wands and in a much more focused way. But with 3 of Wands, it means that you've definitely grown accustomed to life being incredibly hectic. And at the same time, you also in this lifetime experienced 3 of Swords, which means you've also experienced the loss of relationships, and some of the just true pain that can come from the shared sense of self you have with someone being severed. So that could mean maybe even for some of you, you might be widows or widowers, or that you've just even if the person hadn't died, that you have experienced losing people in a way that was so deeply impactful and painful and difficult to cope with. And so in this next lifetime, this is about a strong family and just kind of taking things easy. This is Venus and it's Jupiter. It's saying that, hey, in this lifetime, I know that things are so hectic and all over the place, and maybe there's part of you that in this lifetime tries to find this 4 energy for yourself, and that by the end of this lifetime, I'm sure you will, maybe even right now, even if you were born into the 3s, you're creating the 4s for yourself, and you're building this for other people as well. Well, in the next lifetime, you've got a pretty chill life. And that's the thing about these readings about past lives and future lives and the present lifetime, is that it can seem like, well, if I have difficulty in this lifetime, why do I have to wait until the next lifetime for that to get better? And it's like, that you definitely don't. More than anything, each and every person in this world, metaphorically speaking, has their blessings and their curses. Each and every, for those of us who were born in poverty, maybe we have an incredibly strong family unit. For those of us with poverty and a weak family unit, maybe we're blessed with the best of friends. Maybe we were cursed in some way with very difficult familial relationships and friendships, but our abundance has always been strong, or our creativeness or our intelligence or something that helps us through. So each and every lifetime we have lessons that feel incredibly subtractive, and also lessons that come from a place of addition and a place of pure prosperity and blessing. So anyways, I hope that these 8 piles have helped you guys, and that this gives you some insight into a future life. And hopefully what it does more than anything is validate some of the things that have gone on in this present lifetime, and reveals to you that it isn't always completely random, that there is kind of the mechanisms of the universe that are at play here. And it doesn't always make sense in the moment, but maybe it makes sense when we take sort of a King of Swords look at it from afar, So anyways, thank you guys for tuning in today, and thank you guys for 2,000 subscribers. I just hit the 2,000 subscriber mark. I've been on YouTube since 2017, and I haven't really taken the YouTube channel and treated it as a very serious front project, because like the creation of this deck, mentoring people in astrology, doing readings for people, that's always kind of come first for me in my private practice. But I'm going to be on YouTube more. I highly recommend, if you guys haven't already, to go to Atiya's Tarot, check out her past life video, which is connected to these, and subscribe to her channel. Check her out. I have always been very standoffish about pick a card readings and things of that nature, because sometimes they just feel really vague to me. But hers have always felt like they were just out of this world, and I definitely respect her work, and it's obviously it's inspired me to give it a little try. So anyways, I hope you guys have an awesome rest of your day, and I will be making another video here very soon.